We just completed another full year of shopping with Azure Standard, and we're going to share our experience to help you decide if you should become a customer as well.
We're going to be answering questions like, is Azure Standard affordable? What is a drop location experience like? And is Azure Standard worth it moving forward into 2023?
We'll be answering all of this and more, and make sure that you stay until the end because we've got a special way that new customers can save money on their first order. If you are brand new to Azure Standard, it's important to talk about what sets them apart from other online retailers because the experience is a unique one.
They offer organic and non-GMO food options in small or bulk orders. There are no membership fees at all. And instead of having your items shipped directly to your home, there is a monthly drop location that you go to pick up your items.
If you want more in-depth information about what Azure Standard is and how the whole process works rather than today's review video, after you watch this, be sure to look in the description of this video where we have a link to a full FAQ playlist that we've put together. The first area we want to focus on for our annual review is our drop location experience. This is the thing that we had the most questions about when we were new customers with Azure, and we're most curious about what that whole experience was like. If you're going to be a customer, you're going to have some kind of flexibility in your schedule. Azure will give you a projection of when your next order is expected to arrive, but you won't have your specific day and time until a few days after your order is finalized.
After you place your order with Azure Standard, a couple days later, you will receive a delivery email from them with your exact date and time of your expected delivery. Each drop location has a drop coordinator who is in charge of that specific drop. When we placed our first order, I was able to see our drop coordinator's email and reach out to them with any questions that I had. If there is a rare instance where you are not able to make it to the Azure drop or have another family member or friend make it for you, you probably would be able to speak with your drop coordinator and arrange something for that one specific time.
Now for 2022, we had 2 instances where our scheduled pickup date actually changed before we arrived to pick up our goods.
One of them, we got an email a couple hours before the drop time. This one was supposed to be later in the evening and the delivery driver was running pretty late. So the drop time just went and got moved to the next day in the morning.
There was another instance during the winter time where I had arrived at the drop, and while I was on my way, got notification that the truck was running a little bit behind. I think I ended up sitting in the parking lot for about 40 minutes or so by the time the truck actually showed up. But our normal experience is that we show up roughly 10 minutes early to our drop, and by the time the truck shows up, I think we're in and out within about 15 minutes. Our drop is very organized, and our drop coordinator sets out signs in a big circle so that way when everybody unloads the truck, it has names on it so people know where to unload the goods. We do that when the weather is nice, but when we get into the winter months, they have everybody pull up into the parking lot, they open their trunks, and they put those signs in front of everybody's vehicles. They have a few of the stronger men typically show up, and they will actually unload all of the groceries, and most people get to just sit in their car and wait to have your groceries loaded, similar to like a click list or a curbside pickup. So I would say in whole, at the end of 2022, we had a very good experience with our drop locations.
Yeah. So you may be wondering about Azure Standard's order accuracy. It is night and day compared to the big box stores. I don't know about you, but I have done multiple times some of the curbside grocery pickups from these big box stores, and so many times I have gotten home only to realize that 1, 2, 3, or multiple bags of items that I ordered are just not there.
And she's not typically very happy when that happens, and I don't blame her.
No, not when you live far away and it's a big enough trip just to place the order and get there. I'm not going to go all the way back.
So we ordered a lot from Azure Standard this year, as you'll see when we talk about our numbers later in this video. But for everything that we ordered, we are aware of 2 instances where we had something that was wrong. In one case, we had an item that when we checked our order history, it said that it did ship and we didn't get it. And we had another instance where we ordered 2 adult toothbrushes and one of them ended up being a child's toothbrush. Wasn't a big deal. We called Azure right away. They apologized for the issue, credited our account immediately, and we just ordered those items in the next month.
Yep. So overall for 2022, Azure Standard's order accuracy has been above and beyond any of the curbside online ordering grocery pickups I've done.
So speaking of customer service issues, one very important thing to me when I'm evaluating whether or not I want to give a company my business or not is their customer service, which today just seems to be non-existent. And before Azure, I had almost just given up hope that good customer service existed anymore. Our few instances where we had to contact Azure either by phone or by email, they have been extremely responsive. Anytime we've had to call in, we haven't had to wait on hold for 20, 30 minutes like most places. And anytime we've emailed them, we've gotten a response back almost immediately.
I ordered a big bag of onions one time, and about half the onions were moldy and rotten. I called customer service. They refunded us for the amount that were spoiled. No problems, no issues. They apologized first thing. A really good experience.
A lot of places you call seem to be annoyed or want to make it out like you've done something wrong, where Azure doesn't do that. They immediately apologize for the situation and they work to make it right. You're not in court trying to plead your case and you know, beg them to fix the situation. Azure comes up with the solution, they tell you how they're going to handle it, and they make it right. Even
if the issue is your problem, like one time when somebody forgot to check out their order it was a big issue because we order a lot from Azure Standard, and a little bit of a busy night with the toddlers and realizing, oh no, I didn't check out the order. But we called them. It was only about 30 minutes past our cutoff. They were able to put the order through. So nice, so kind. They did it over the phone. Just the best customer service out there, pretty much.
So up until this point, we've pretty much only had good things to say about Azure Standard, but we want to be completely honest with you. And the most frustrating part of 2022 for both ourselves and from what we've seen in the comments on our other videos is that Azure Standard has had an out-of-stock dilemma that has really frustrated some people. It's a little bit more than just having items that are merely out of stock. Azure's a bit unique in that since you're able to add items to your cart and your order isn't actually finalized until you reach that cutoff point, items that are low in stock, you don't really have a good idea if those items are actually going to ship or not.
When you're ordering from Azure and you're looking at a specific item online, it will tell you how many they currently have in stock of that item. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes there's expected inventory to show up. It can be a little messy sometimes and really frustrating, just especially if it's something you've been trying to get for a while. The whole inventory system for Azure, unfortunately, currently is a little bit messy.
For us, we order a lot of items, so it's really not that big of a deal if we have a couple of items that don't show up. However, it seems to be more frustrating for these people who have a long distance to travel to their drop location and maybe are only ordering a few things from Azure. They might have to travel 30 minutes or an hour to their drop location, where almost half their order isn't showing up if they've only ordered a few items.
I would be super frustrated.
Yes. Now, we completely understand the supply chain issues that have been going on, but what we really hope that Azure can do is to try to update their inventory system so it becomes much more rare where somebody has something in their cart and then it ultimately ends up not shipping. I think everybody would prefer to just see that an item is completely out of stock. That way they don't get their hopes up that something they've put into their cart is going to show up.
Especially if it's a really big item that you're expecting. It could even be like animal feed or a big 50-pound bag of flour. That's when it's been the most like, ugh, to me, is when that one doesn't show up.
That being said, we've had similar experiences going to grocery stores, doing curbside pickups, or even just inside a grocery store shopping where they don't have what we're looking for. So to be fair to Azure, it's not something that's unique to them, but still something that we feel that they could improve upon.
Yeah.
One of the great things about Azure Standard is they have a very modern website, especially for how small of a company that they are.
Yeah, it is wonderful. It is great on your phone, on your computer, on your laptop. It works everywhere and anywhere. So if you're out and about and you think of something that you need, you just pull up the website. You don't even need to add it to a list and a note on your phone. You can just go right to Azure's website and add it right to your cart.
They have things in categories already for you, which is a really easy way to shop, and it's easy to search for things on their website.
Yeah.
I've been on some websites before where their search functionality just seems to be completely useless. Anytime we plug something in on Azure, it's been really easy to find what we're looking for.
Yeah. They even have some different toggle switches, like searching for only organic options, which is really good. We use that one a lot.
Yeah, that's the main toggle. Everything that they sell is at least non-GMO, but if you're specifically looking for organic only, it's an easy click of the button, so your search results are just isolated to the good stuff.
Yeah.
One of the neat things about their website is that you can go back through your order history. So we went back and looked at everything that we ordered for 2022 and put together some interesting stats and figures.
So we are a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 little toddlers, and we buy more than just food from Azure. We get a lot of personal and beauty care products from there as well. We had 13 total drops for 2022. Drops are roughly 30 days apart, so for us that was 13 this past year.
Our smallest order for 2022 ended up being $71.
That's crazy.
Yes, because our average order is much larger than that.
Yeah. Our largest order this year was $584. We've had much larger orders previous years, and that was because we were really focusing on stocking our pantry, but this year we were able to stay a bit more consistent with it.
Now for those 13 drops that we got in 2022, our average order size ended up being $399. Now I think a figure that probably is going to help you out a little bit more is what we spent per month. And if we average that out across 12 months, it was $433 we were spending per month with Azure Standard for our small family of 4. The next thing we want to talk about is the whole shipping experience. And there is a big misconception out there that there are no shipping fees with Azure, and that's not true. There are 2 ways to get your products from Azure. You can go to a drop location, or you can have items shipped directly to your home. Both have shipping charges associated with them, and having them shipped to your house is the more expensive route.
A lot more expensive.
Yes. An important thing to factor in if you're trying to decide if Azure is right for you or not, and if you're going to go to a drop location like most people do, is that for each order, there is going to be an 8.5% shipping charge on top of your order total.
This 8.5% shipping fee is something that you're going to want to take into account when doing your price comparisons with other stores.
Our average shipping charge for 2022 ended up being $34, and across the entire year, we ended up paying $444 for those 13 deliveries. That being said, even when comparing prices and factoring in an 8.5% shipping charge, we still find Azure Standard to be the most affordable when you're looking at organic and non-GMO foods for most things that are on their website.
So the total that we spent in 2022 is $5,191.65.
I don't like hearing that number. I much prefer the $400 monthly average.
And the $400 is good because that's like $100 a week at the grocery store. So I feel like that's good, but I agree. Hearing it all at once, it's a little bit, whoa.
So while I was looking back and doing all the math to see how much we spent this year, I thought it would be fun to add up some of the items that we buy a lot of, and some of the numbers here are a little bit scary, so Alex is going to share those with you here.
Keep in mind we are a family of 4 with 2 little tiny toddlers and only 2 adults. We got 34 pounds of butter, 95 pounds of raw cheese.
That is a lot of organic cholesterol flowing through our veins.
So much. 50 pounds of oats. I feel like that one's pretty much average.
Which the oats are used for oatmeal, and oatmeal is supposed to be good at reducing cholesterol.
Oh, there we go. 55 pounds of frozen fruit, 55 pounds of granola, and that's only the back half of the year because we started ordering granola in July.
Yeah.
That's him.
I think we can hit 100 pounds in 2023.
Oh my gosh. And 38 pounds of honey. That's me.
It's a lot of tea drinking.
Tea, coffee, I put it in everything.
So the other big theme for 2022 was inflation, and this obviously wasn't just unique to Azure Standard, but I was curious how much Azure had been impacted by inflation. Our research was very limited because we went back just through our order history through the first quarter of 2022 and compared the prices of what we paid then versus what Azure's actually selling them for now. And the results were all over the place. Some items had no price change at all, and others had extreme changes in price. So just to share a few of these with you, when we're looking at the oats that we regularly buy from Azure, they had a 22% price increase compared to the start of the year versus now. Their avocado oil ended up going up 24%. The Rumiano organic butter that we buy went up 33%.
That's a big one. And we still just keep buying it because it's so good.
It
It's
is.
really good.
And it's hard not to buy that.
Yeah.
The organic flour had a 36% price increase. And the most extreme example that I could find, and I don't know if this might have something to do with honey being out of season perhaps, for their organic raw berry wildflower honey, it currently is up 55% over what we paid earlier in the year.
I don't get that one anymore. I get the clover one.
Yes, that one hasn't had as much of a price increase.
Yeah.
Now again, don't let this scare you too much. These were just 5 examples that we could find that were the most extreme just because we happened to be looking back through our order history. There were plenty of items that we looked at that didn't have price increases, and we actually found a few examples of some items where prices actually went down a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing to note is that we were evaluating items that we had bought in that specific quantity. And for most items on Azure's website, they might have 2, 3, even 5 different options in terms of buying for size. And buying the largest size doesn't always have the cheapest price per ounce. Sometimes the medium size actually ends up being the better value. So you might still be able to save money by just buying a different size of that same item.
Yep. Again, this isn't just a reflection of Azure Standard. Prices have increased everywhere. So it's not really something that you can get away from right now.
And actually, we usually only have great things to say about Azure, and we just wanted to be completely honest with you about how things might impact your shopping experience. So we wanted to make sure that we highlighted this. So the big question that we're looking to answer today for anybody who's watching this is Azure Standard still worth it in 2023?
Yes. If you care about the quality of your food and the products you're bringing into your home, Azure Standard is the way to go. They offer amazing organic and non-GMO products across the board. You really can't go wrong. On top of all of that, Azure Standard has wonderful morals, and you are supporting a company who actually really cares. They aren't greenwashing you. They aren't doing whatever under the table that all these other companies do. They are just all around a wonderful place to support.
And even if you've got organic options at your grocery store locally, the best part about Azure Standard, in our opinion, is the ability to buy in bulk of non-GMO and organic goods. And that's where you can really see some savings and beat what you can find at your local grocery store. If you are brand new to Azure Standard, please use our referral link that we have down in the description of this video. And if it's your first time ordering, you can use the promo code NEW15 when you're checking out to save 15% on your first order.
There is so much more to learn about Azure Standard. We have an entire playlist dedicated to a lot of these most common questions that customers have, so make sure that you check that out next so your shopping experience can go as smooth as possible. Thank you for watching, and remember to live free and find your purpose.